It's Thursday, July 2nd, so it must be time for another legislative update from your North Carolina Medical Society. And we're giving you this update a little bit early to celebrate your July 4th holiday weekend, but want to focus today's political pulse on a topic that closely relates to July 4th, and that's voting. So let's talk a little bit about the number of registered voters here in North Carolina. So there are over 7 million registered voters in the state, and that breaks down to approximately 3.5 million registered Democrats, 3.2 million registered unaffiliated voters, and approximately 3 million registered Republicans. So all those numbers are approximate, but show that our state is very evenly distributed almost in terms of registered voters' political affiliation here in the state. Now that number is almost the exact same between male and female registered voters too, with women only having approximately 500,000 more registered voters than men in our state. Now, one interesting fact is that we've had the highest number of voter turnout in our last presidential election in 2016 in the state, one of the highest voting participation rates that we've had in the history of North Carolina. And we've seen 1.6 million registered voters since 2016. So a lot of political junkies like myself are really curious to see what that data means, where those voters will vote or not, if they will turn out. There's a lot of up in the air questions about that, but I can assure you there will be a lot of time, effort, energy, and money spent on advertisements in the state of North Carolina as we gear up towards election season because of the data that I just mentioned to you. So let's talk a little bit about how you can be more engaged and more involved in voting and be more of an informed voter as you head to the ballot box in November. And if you've ever heard Chip or I give a presentation about advocacy, you've likely heard us share the statistic that physicians are 9% less likely than the general population to vote, which is very worrisome, I think, to us, and it should be to you and to your patients who look to you to really exemplify leadership in medicine. So I hope from some of these tools that I'm going to mention can help make that process a little bit easier for you and help engage you a little bit more. So first I want to point out the North Carolina State Board of Elections website, and that's ncsbe.gov, and we'll include it in a link located in this video. And this allows you to do a voter lookup. It's called their voter lookup tool. And you type in your first and last name, and then you can actually see what your ballot will look like on election day. So this allows you to do all the homework beforehand, all the research, so that you don't have to rely on what your newspaper's telling you, your neighbor's telling you, or TV ads. You can do all your own research with exactly what your ballot will look like, every single person from the president to the soil and water commissioner that you may be voting on. This allows you to look up in that sample ballot tool to see what your ballot will look like, as well as see the status of your absentee ballot. If you're requesting an absentee ballot or mailing that back in, it'll give you the status of that as well, and you can see what elections you voted in previously. So again, if you've participated in one of our advocacy presentations and you've seen Chip or I use percentages to show who's voted in the room and who hasn't, that is where we get that data from. Also want to talk to you a little bit about absentee voting. And we've talked several times on Political Pulse about the bipartisan elections bill that passed the North Carolina General Assembly, and the governor voted on it. And it made a significant change in that it allows the absentee ballot to be signed by just one person instead of two, and that it does not have to be notarized. So for our upcoming election, you only need one signature on your absentee ballot. So we'll include the absentee voter request form in this video so that you're able to utilize that method if you choose to do so. We'll have plenty of reminders about election season coming up, but wanted to point out that change to you. It makes it a little bit easier. We hear a lot of feedback from our physician and PA members about elections being a time-consuming process and wanting to do your own homework and research beforehand, and thinking about ways to make that process a little bit easier for you. So I hope this video was helpful and ties into your July 4th holiday celebrations, but we hope you have a great weekend, and we look forward to talking to you next week, and don't forget to vote.